Welcome. Pleasure to be here. My name's Richard Barrington. I'm head of Land Mobility and Smart Cities for Angoka. We're a UK startup, 35 people, based in Belfast, and we specialize in securing machines. Because in a world of digitalization, if you cannot trust the machine that is producing the data that you are relying on, whether you're using it in AI, whether you're using it to create a digital twin, whatever you're doing with data, if you cannot trust it, you're screwed. And how do you know you can trust it? The answer is you can't. So what I'm going to do, he says very hopefully, aha, we're in. Smarter city, greater the threat. If you are rolling out EV charging points, you are creating places within your city where incendiary action can take place. I've got people who can hack your EV charging point and turn that vehicle into a bomb. It's easy. Or I can do it the other way around and attack the national grid. It's easy. Why? Because it wasn't built secure by design. Once again, we're playing catch up. We all love bright, shiny new things. Don't know about you, I do. On Myers-Briggs, I'm over here when I need to be down here, complete a finisher. I'm up here. I'm up here. This is the problem we face. We're racing into the future because it's great, and we're forgetting to do the basics as we go along. I'm going to have to keep looking at the screen because I wrote this last night and I can't remember what comes next. This is the problem. We saw attacks from Russia into Ukraine, Ukraine into Russia. A very nice young man turned all of the screens on EV charging points on the Isle of Wight to a porn site. Why? Because you can. Well, he could. I couldn't anymore. So we've got to work out how we adopt a whole systems approach to all of this stuff. The problem we have, let's just take EV charging as an example. They're manufactured to a price point over here, they're procured by a local authority over here, and between the two there's an operator, and there's an installer, and there's a distributor, and nobody wants to own the problem. The only thing a local authority might ask for in their procurement, and apologies if you are from a local authority, is, are you cyber essentials? Doesn't help with any of the things that we are trying to do and deliver as a result of moving forwards. I've tried to limit, I read somewhere you shouldn't have more than 5 words on a slide. So some of this doesn't actually, it's not proper grammar, and I apologize up front to any of the grammar police who may be in the audience this afternoon. When it comes to, and now we've got the timing on as well, which doesn't help either. Where are we going? Secure by design. Everything can be hacked. Traffic light systems. Very easy to hack because they're being digitized without thinking about the implications of cybersecurity. Connected autonomous vehicles brings a whole set of new challenges because we have to have a whole systems approach. Oh, there we are. That was what I was going to say. You have to get to a point what's called, can I pause it? No, I can't. Oh, well. It was wonderful in my head, this presentation. It was one of the best I've ever done. Trust me on that. Here's what we've got to do. We've got to get to a point where we trust nothing and we validate everything, because that is the only way that we will get through what is going to come down the road at us. You think about the problems that we're seeing within local authorities, denial of service attacks, people actually attacking the corporate systems. What's going to happen to your city if somebody does that to the traffic light system? What's the economic loss, apart from the frustration of all of those drivers? And this is going on all the time, and we are struggling to understand it. So, whole systems approach. Think about the bigger picture. Start with secure by design. And I know you've already started, okay? So bring some mates in, and there's 1 or 2 in the room now who can actually do things called a threat and risk analysis. They'll look at where you are and say, here are the big problems you need to address now. Here are the little problems that may become big problems over time. Here are the things that you need to do as an organization to address all of that. And as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the slide, connected autonomous vehicles brings a whole new set of challenges. I'm going to have to watch the screen, aren't I? I can't look at you, I've got to watch the screen. So we're involved as Angoku with the Harlander project, with the Sunderland Advanced Mobility project, and the autonomous HGV project up at Nissan. We kind of get this stuff, and we're working on the infrastructure, and we're working on the vehicle to infrastructure communications, teleoperations, all of that. Connected autonomous mobility brings new challenges. And it brings new challenges, particularly as we heard earlier on today up in the ITS stream, the challenges of nobody's talking to each other. Part of government are going off and getting autonomous vehicles on the road. Are they talking to the guys who are looking at the ITS infrastructure and so on and so forth? So bring it all together. Founding principle, secure by design. You'll find information on this up on the National Cybersecurity Centre's website. It's a starting point. If you really want to look at something frightening, go and have a look at the EU. Can I say EU in this room? EU Cyber Resilience Act. This is an act that is now being substantiated across the whole of the EU, and it's all about resilient infrastructure. And they're going right the way down to things like baby monitors, and your smart fridge will have to be cyber secure, right the way up to critical national infrastructure. Some are taking this seriously. We're still not joined up thinking in the UK. Everything connected is at risk. Everything connected is at risk. Okay? Say it one more time with feeling. Everything connected is at risk. I said earlier on today, I hate talking about cybersecurity because I'm always calling your pet project, your baby, ugly. Okay? Because you haven't thought about this stuff, or you've thought about it and thought it was somebody else's problem. But this is what we've got to do, is recognize that if you plug something in, if it connects to another device, it's at risk. In this particular example, we're doing the project for a city. We're just looking at 12 sets of traffic lights. When you open up the cabinets, there's 120 different computer systems inside those cabinets. Because it was bought as a service, and then it's a managed service, and then it's break fix for replacement parts, 120 different computer systems running 12 sets of traffic lights. How do you secure that? You just pray that nobody realizes how easy it is to break into that. Everything connected is at risk. So we've got to go, I'm going backwards. That's why I'm going wrong. Here we go. It goes way beyond the sensor. I was involved in a number of projects putting in smart sensors in various establishments. And the problem was that most people think like this. Walled garden. If I build my perimeter high enough, if I have enough guards on the walls, this is fun, isn't it? I'm just going to keep pressing the button one way. Let's play, it's like roulette, isn't it? Which slide are we going to end up on next? Kevin Costner can always find his way into a castle. If you're thinking perimeter security, firewalls, routers, you're not thinking the right way. Got to work out how we address these challenges. And I did say in the brief that I was going to talk briefly about quantum and AI. We talked about AI in the ITS stream. We are seeing positives, but we're also seeing, where's my threats gone? There we are, threats as well. How do we deal with these kinds of challenges and problems, and how do we address the future with something that we've already started and somewhere where we're partway through? It's going to be a major problem, folks. Encryption, for example, as we know it, is dead. And it doesn't help anyway, because it doesn't tell you you can trust the data. All it does is transfers data from one end of a value chain to another and doesn't tell you whether it was compromised before it entered into the encryption engine. These are all things we've got to think about. I think we might as well go to the last slide because you've seen it anyway. So here are my 10 points. The 10 points are, very simply, think whole system. When you're starting to plan anything like this, have a chat with somebody who understands the risk that you may be creating for your organization, for your customer, and build out from that ground zero, a whole systems approach. Recognize digital infrastructure will be compromised unless you do something about it. Adopt a secure by design principle. Think about it from the start. Go to bed thinking about it. It will certainly help you sleep at night if you have a struggle sleeping right now. Think about it as you do it. Encryption is only part of the fix, and as we've seen from Quantum, it will break, particularly at the lower levels. You might not think you need to encrypt the data. So one project I was in 2 years ago was about putting temperature sensors into the road so that we could shed loads of money for a local authority in not gritting when the parameters said we didn't need to. If I hack that, so what? If I hack that to gain access to the corporate systems, to the traffic light systems, because everything is connected. So we have to think all the way through it. Data. Provenance. I love that word. Provenance. It sounds like a nice warm place in France. Provenance is essential. Where has it come from? How do I know that that data has come from that vehicle doing that route, that journey? And then the integrity. How do I know it hasn't been compromised? That somebody hasn't manipulated that data? Why would they? Because they can. Because you'll end up paying a lot of money to fix it, either to them or to me. Now, obviously, you know who you want to pay lots of money to. Smart procurement is key. There is no cyber standard for buying an EV charging point. It's a problem. Okay? How are we going to get, as an industry, as a community, to actually address these things at the procurement phase? So someone in a local authority doesn't even have to think about it. If it's not ISO XYZ, if it's not, I'm not going to buy it. And then as suppliers, we have to show an evidence that it is. And for me, one of the critical things to do is a threat and risk analysis. Even when you get to the high-level design of what it is you're trying to build. Because trust me, the whiz kids who do those will think of things and ways that this could be compromised that you have not thought of. And then you can build it more robustly and create quality product for your clients. And one of my favorites is don't let your suppliers mark their own homework. No company should be selling you cybersecurity and then doing the penetration testing themselves. It's just not good practice. Okay, get somebody in. But you don't just pen test once. Okay? Because the threat landscape continues to evolve, you need to test again and again and again and reflect on those changes. As you can see, there's only 9 things on the list. Here is the 10th. All right? This is the whole systems approach. The whole systems of the universe, it blows my mind. I don't understand it. What I do know is that everything in the universe is interconnected. And they're just beginning to discover ways and means that everything is interconnected that we don't understand yet. No, not just string theory and all that kind of stuff, but way beyond that. So that's what we need to do. Where did that go? Come back here. Oh, yes. Final slide. I work for a company called Angoka, UK startup, UK sovereign business, heavily focused on... You could have told me the timer was on. So we're heavily involved in this space. If you need some help and support, you want to understand what we're talking about in greater detail, do contact us. We are an award-winning, most innovative cybersecurity company in the UK as of 2023. And that's my contact details. So if you want to get in touch, please feel free. It'll take 4 seconds and then it'll go to contact me, and I'll happily meet and have a conversation. Have we got time for 4 questions, 3 questions, 2 questions, 1 question? Any questions? How do I turn off the timer on this? That's 1 question. Sir? Yes. So, just been asked the question about EV chargers. If you think about an EV charger, it's connected in 3 ways traditionally. So you've got the connection to the power grid, which is doing some kind of demand response. You've got the connection out to the operator, whoever is providing it as a service, and they're monitoring in real time. And then you've got usually got a payment system. Payment system tends to be reasonably secure because it's money, and we worry about money more than we worry about explosions and things, because money makes the world go round. So what you need to do is establish an identity. What we do and what we think you need to do is establish a unique identity for every machine that cannot be compromised. In the same way that each one of us has an identity, and the big difference between us and a machine, although I've got some machines that are smarter than I am, is when IT says, Richard, change your password, I take my mother's maiden name and my phone number and swap the 2. And I'm now unique again. It's very hard to do that with a machine. So once somebody is able to identify the machine and the communication protocols that are going in and out of that machine, I can compromise it. Because I can tell it, instead of turning off the supply into the vehicle because it's full, I can tell it the vehicle is not full. Keep charging. Or I can, from the vehicle or from that side of the interface, talk to the grid and have a conversation with the grid. And that's the problem, because they are connected digitally and therefore can be compromised. So the problem we have is there is no set standard for the security of that device, that machine. And that's what we have to arrive at somehow as an industry. Does that help? Oh, there's a man with a mic.
If anybody else has any questions, now is your chance.
I only charge £4.50 an hour, and you get your car washed at the same time.
Very good.
Okay, thanks ever so much for listening.
Yeah, big hand of applause for Richard. His brief to Richard and his team was talk about cybersecurity in a way that I can understand, and it is simple and isn't laden with technical jargon. And I think you did that brilliantly. So thank you, Richard.
Pleasure.
And you also handled the automatic timing on your side. Who
Anybody
knows?
got a drink?
Maybe someone had got in and changed your slides through our
I
AV
could have been
desk.
hacked. Guys, I'm looking at you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.